Businessman turned humanitarian and philanthropist Mohanji is a well-known humanitarian who has dedicated his life to serving the world. His life purpose is to unite the world with the highest values of love, kindness, compassion, and selflessness. And he believes that humanity is the best religion for humans. Mohanji's philosophy is a lifestyle of purity, non-violence, unconditional love, and selfless service towards fellow beings across species. His core teaching is simply be you. Accept, understand, recognize, and express your uniqueness in the world. And as Brenda said at the beginning of our day, we are so lucky and fortunate to have Mohanji with us in person. We'll start firstly with a short video.
A life of purpose, a life of determination. The world brought Mohanji, another man amongst men, but a man with a clear purpose, to raise the awareness of Earth to that of kindness and compassion. He walked away from a lucrative career in shipping and logistics to pursue what his heart sought, contentment. He said, "Humanity is my religion. Non-violence is its law." The platforms he founded united and activated people of similar aspirations throughout the world. Now, looking back, the severe pain of the death of his precious daughter on August 23, 2000, totally transformed itself into an intense purpose: help the helpless. Spanning over 6 continents, touching the lives of many people, each platform is adding value to the world in its own unique way. As Mohanji says, true wealth is what we give to Earth, not what we take from it. This is the vision that today is carried in the hands and hearts of hundreds of volunteers across the globe, united with the common idea of leaving this Earth a better place than we found it. We all have the potential to make a positive impact. Join in this journey from humankind to kind humans.
Please welcome Mohanji.
Thank you. I think we have heard everything. I do not know. All the speakers who spoke just now have touched our hearts. And I do not have anything different to tell you. Consciousness in the spiritual terms is that which sustains the universe. It's called brighter than a million suns, pure brightness. And a piece of it sits in us. It sits in all beings, whether it's a bird or an animal. Any being that's moving, which is alive, has consciousness in it. We can call it soul, we can call it energy, whatever we want to call it. We can call it, and when it leaves the body, we call it a dead body. So that which sustains us is consciousness. Now, when we talk of conscious leadership, the onus, the strength, and the stress or the accent is on responsibility. We have inherited this earth only for a short period of time. We have 2 boundaries. One is birth, another is death, which we cannot control. We had no grip on these 2. These boundaries are set. And while we are here in this space, how we behave, that's what determines us. We can behave selfishly or selflessly. And the degree of selflessness determines our relevance on earth. That's why I constantly say it's about what you give to earth, not what you take from earth. And we are almost all of us are like here, like on a tourist visa here, just for a small period of time. The same earth was walked by a different set of people before we came. And in the next 100 years, it will be a totally different set of people who will be walking this earth. And how are we going to give this earth to the next generation? This is the question. And leadership, we all have. 8 billion people are leaders in their own way. All of us. We can never underestimate any person, and everybody has an element of leadership in them. But when it comes to responsibility over the country, over the people, over the world, over the universe, we have to be very, very realistic. What are we trying to bring to the people, or bring to this world, or bring to ourselves? Like all of us, I mean, all the people who spoke before me have stressed upon the same thing. And one thing I would like to tell you, when we live our life, each moment, that which expands us is good for us. And that which contracts us or makes us feel less is not good for us. I use this benchmark. That which expands you, makes you brighter, makes you more effective, like in the sense, like a self-esteem is high, that's good for you. But that which makes you feel less, like violence, for example. Violence makes you feel less. But we have seen, it's not that we don't know this. We know this very well. But some way, all of us have been indifferent. I was talking in one of the programs when I came last time in the television here in South Africa. And they were talking about the violence factor, etc. And the bishop was there. So after the program, I came out and I told the bishop, are we hypocrites? We're talking in the television about peace, and out there, things are not the same. We should do something realistic about it. And there are a few suggestions which I had put forth at that time. This is before COVID. And the movement was to unite all the people of various frequencies. See, we are all frequency operated. We are all frequencies, different frequencies. If one person cannot understand another person, it is not a problem, because frequencies sometimes do not connect. So I suggested the people of similar frequency should come together and give a difference or make a difference in the world. So uniting the entertainers, for example, to bring awareness. Is there a possibility to be non-violent in this world, in this country? And we can't isolate South Africa from the whole world. South Africa is part of the whole world. So we look at the entire world and we bring forth a kind of possibility to create a dynamic society which believes in kindness, compassion. And a few things only people with authority can provide: food, clothing, shelter. These are the basics. This has to be provided. And if this is provided, people are reasonably okay. To talk, to have a discussion, you need to have food, clothing, shelter. Without this, there's no point in talking. If somebody is hungry, you cannot talk about spirituality. You cannot even talk about anything in life. So if we are communicating with the world outside, we should be extremely realistic. And we should provide. That reminds me about one businessman initiated a political party. This is a real story. Political party, and he won the election in a local community. It's like a province. And he made sure the food is supplied at a very reasonable cost in his province. All the roads were good. Everything was good, zero corruption. And he proved it. He was a businessman. He's still a businessman. But the political parties did not like it, because there has to be corruption. They are looking for money, excess funds, extra money. So there was a lot of conflict. So he couldn't expand further. But he proved one point, that this is possible. That we have to take the steps, what we imagine as a possibility, and prove it to the world. If we cannot prove it, it's not real. It's unreal. So I did not come here preparing a speech, I came to listen, and what I would like to tell now in this audience, there is a big hope now from the words of the people who have spoken before and the initiative Brenda and the entire team has put forth. There is hope, there is clarity of purpose, and I think this is going to grow further beyond South Africa in the world. This is the feeling I'm getting. And it should. Because when, look at the last 100 years. Just take 100 years. How much of war, how many wars, how much of bloodshed, displacement, and the world has taken displacements as normal. I heard that from the United Nations also, that every country should be responsible and take on as many refugees as possible. I was thinking that he would say, every country should be responsible and there should be no refugees. Make sure there are no wars, no refugees. See, I would like to stay in my house. I will be uncomfortable if I am staying in somebody else's house. So it's the same. People from Afghanistan going to Canada and different countries, and the demographic imbalance apart from that, it's not comfortable. It's not realistic. So sometimes I think we are going in the wrong direction. There is a system imbalance happening in the brain itself, or we are communicating it that way. Second is the overemphasis on religion. Instead of that, overemphasis is on spirituality. What is spirituality? You being you is spirituality. That means you being authentic. It's not about religion or an external God or a philosophy or a theory. It's about you 100% being you, the most authentic expression. That is spirituality. And that everybody has. You don't need any guide for it. You to be you, you don't need to be trained. It's like you don't need to teach a fish to swim. It's almost like that. Finding you is listening to you. And also, keeping you stable, it also means you observe more silence. You speak where you have to speak, otherwise you don't speak at all. Patience, very important. But none of these things work when there is no food, no clothing, no shelter. So we have to think about this. Now, as business community, it is not that you are isolated to business. There is a possibility that so many other things are possible in the world. It can be done. And freebies are not a good idea. See, we've been providing food in many countries. 90 countries or so, we've been giving food to people who are hungry. This is okay. But I was telling them, they should not be complacent because we are giving them food. Some people may become complacent. They may say, oh, food is coming, so I don't have to do anything. That's not a good idea. Like we are working hard, there should be a kind of empowering them so they can be self-sufficient. This is possible. Definitely possible. And as now we are working on the plantation of fruit trees. That was because the idea came to me when I saw in the COVID time, so many animals were on the streets, which they were in the forest before. They all came into the street, and many of them came, and some of them were shot and killed because the society cannot handle them, or they are not suitable for the society. So I asked a few people, and I understood that there are hardly any trees which are giving fruits in the forest. You see, in old times, when the American tribes, the original American Indians, they used to have these islands of fruits in the forests so that the animals were staying there. Birds, animals, they create islands, they plant fruit trees, and they stay there. So the villages were saved. So we are trying to do the same thing now. We planted a few trees now, almost 100 trees in Turkey, and about 80,000 trees we have planted in the world now. America we did. So thing is that we can all do what within our capacity, but united, we are a force. All people coming together. It need not be fruit trees, like Sadhguru was talking about save the soil. Very, very relevant subject. You know, because we have, the water level has gone down. The water level is subsided. Soil is affected. In the matter of greed, so many things have changed. And it is time for us to take a step. So, with extreme gratitude for inviting me here, and to all of you who have assembled here, And I should also say thanks to Amy to introduce Brenda. And thanks to all of you. So, in short, what I suggest is that let us continue talking, let us continue acting together, work together in our capacities, so that we have every point in time we are doing something for the world. And if this movement can happen, it can spread in the world, and it can spread in all the 190 countries in the world. And please remember, the 190 countries divided by languages, class, color, culture is a sign of human degeneracy. We are all one. There is no difference. Our hearts are same, our intentions are same, inspirations are same, aspirations are same. So everywhere we go, everywhere we see, is that all people need that love and kindness, that understanding, that unity. So the travel from selfishness to selflessness will create that effect. And we are all together in that. There are no parting words, but I would like to say, please remain healthy, happy, and effective. Lots of love. Thank you.